Next up, we have a comedian who started his career on Des Bishop's Joy in the Hood. Here he is in action. I have to stop saying here he is in action, that's all I ever say.
But I leave you on this, ladies and gentlemen. I did mention the kids, and they're 6 and they're great fun in their age, but I am dreading the day when they become teenagers, because teenagers, as we know, are notoriously difficult to keep on the straight and narrow, to get them to do what we want them to do. But I have a solution for that day and when it happens, and the solution lies in subliminal messaging. Now, subliminal messaging was a powerful advertising technique used in the late 60s, early 70s. You'd be watching a big Hollywood blockbuster and a flash frame would come up so fast, so quick, you wouldn't even see it. But subconsciously, the product or brand would be installed in your brain, and inevitably you would go out and spend some money on it. Now, it was done away with for moral reasons, but I'd like to see it brought back. Brought back for the power of good. Brought back for the power of parenting. I want to see subliminal messaging in today's Hollywood blockbusters that only the teenagers can hear. Take, for instance, that wonderful film Gladiator, and that marvellous scene where Russell Crowe confronts Joaquin Phoenix in the Gladiator arena, and he delivers that iconic speech that only the teenagers can hear. Brace yourselves. I am Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the Northern Armies, general of the Felix Legions, loyal to the one true Emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. Clean your room. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Erich King. You've been absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
And here we have Erich King on the couch himself. Erich, welcome to the warehouse.
Thanks for having us on.
What do you think of the painting up there?
The painting is amazing.
Rob, one of the viewers sent it in, and
it's brilliant. And what I love about it as well, not only the paint itself, but the frame is incorporated into the picture. It's beautiful. It's cartoon. It's punk. It's renegade. It's relevant. It's real.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful.
Anyway, yeah, so you're stand-up comedian. If someone asks you like what you do for a living, do you say stand-up or do you?
Yeah, it took me a long time to kind of finally admit that to myself. You know, I remember when when I first started out doing that Joy in the Hood, I remember a couple of the other lads on the workshop going, "Wow, we're comedians, and I was like, no, we're not. And it took me a good 3 years, 4 years to finally admit that I was a comedian. You know, and now. About a year ago, I took the leap from my daytime job in IBM, and now that's all I do for work, for money is stand-up comedy. So yeah, I suppose I am.
So you're full time.
Yeah.
So did you gave up everything?
Yeah. Took the plunge.
Jesus, and you know, I know how you decided to get into it, but through Joy in the Hood.
Yeah.
Was there like a significant moment when someone? Like when you decided that there
wouldn't be one specific moment, Derek. I think what happened was when in IBM, I used to do a lot of writing. You know, just stupid short stories, jokes, and send them around the company, and everyone would be, "What? Eric, you know." Or if somebody was leaving the job, they'd come to me and say, "Eric, John is leaving next week after 8 years service. Will you write a speech for him? You know, his obituary."
Okay, yeah.
So I'd stand up on the factory floor in front of 300 or 400 people and read out this taking the piss document on whoever it was that was leaving, and people used to ask me for copies of them, and you know, people would say, "Eric, you're wasted in here. You should be off doing something with that," you know. But stand-up comedy never really occurred to me, and even if it did, I don't think I would have known how to have gotten into it. I know now because I'm involved in the circuit, but I never knew about the Battle of the Axe, say in the Halfpenny, or any of these new open mic competitions that happen quite regularly now. I mean, I'd never even been to a stand-up gig before I took it up, you know.
Never even been to one, no? Laughter Lounge or anything like that?
No, nothing like that at all. You know, I'd seen bits on television and whatever, you know, but never been to a live gig. And I went along, did the workshop with Des, and haven't looked back since.
No, yeah. And who would be the individual or even TV shows or comedy shows did you watch? That
well, I mean, you know, like everyone else,
you know?
Everyone else, I was a massive fan of The Office. Ricky Gervais, Merchant, and it's just, I mean, to this day I still watch it, and even love the American version, which I think is great in its own way, you know.
I didn't like it at the start, but I did.
I was the same. I was a little bit dubious because I was such a fan. I was such a fan of the UK version that I was the barriers were up. I was going, this American version is not going to work, and it just slowly won me over, and it's brilliant. It's good, as good.
It is just as good. It's you didn't think, as you said, it wouldn't translate over, but
And if anything, it's made its own. Yeah, it's kind of left the UK one in its shadow to an extent, and that's down to the actors in the American one are just amazing.
Yeah, they're very good.
And the boys who play the other characters are just fantastic.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're great.
But even growing up, Eric, like my dad used to love watching Tommy Cooper, and we used to have videos of him. And I grew up watching Tommy Cooper, and Tommy Cooper would be still one of my but probably always will be one of my comedy idols. He's just an absolute genius.
Once you don't die of a massive heart attack on stage, you'll be all right.
But what a way to go, you know?
Yeah.
In front of a sold-out London Palladium audience.
Apparently they all, like, people thought they were a mess. That would be horrific.
Very realistically there. Well done.
Give that man an Oscar. And stage, speaking on stage, what was the worst experience you ever, or worst and best, or would you have?
I've been fortunate enough, I suppose. Most of the gigs seem to go well. There's been one or two little, like at the start of my comedy career, you know, Paddy Courtney, who I believe is coming on your show soon.
Yeah, hopefully, anyway.
Great friend of mine, and he's been a great help for me over the years. You know, he kind of looked out for me at the start when I was doing open spots and all that.
Yeah.
And Paddy is...
he's a lovely fellow as well.
He's a gentleman, yeah. You know, I was at his wedding day. He got married there a couple of weeks ago, and it was a great day, him and Fiona. So, many happy years of marriage and bliss to you, Paddy and Fiona. All right. Paddy basically recommended me to this group who were recording a version. They were recording the Celtic Woman DVD in Slane Castle, outdoor gig, brim and firestone, massive, beautiful set in front of 300-400 US tourists.
Wow!
Right?
Yeah.
So they needed a warm-up act. Now at the time, Eric, I only had about 10-15 minutes of material.
Oh God!
And Paddy went, Eric, you'll be grand. Go out and do that. So I went out. And I remember it was a drizzly grey day out in Slane, and they pushed me out. Right, get out there and do your jokes. And I went out and I was looking at the Americans. They were looking at me, and I did a lot of jokes went flat, and some jokes worked. And then the orchestra and the women, the singers were all coming out, and then I was pushed back off stage. I was going, grand, that wasn't too bad at all. And then it started raining, and they took all the orchestra and the women off stage, and me thrown back out to the lines.
No way.
And about 2 minutes left of material. Did that. Back off, thankfully, and then again it rained, pushed back out, nothing left, and I looked at them and they were looking at me. It was a real spaghetti western standoff.
Awkward.
Like, you know,
Awkward.
I was way out of my league, you know, way in over my head, and I just said to them, I remember at one stage the drizzle was coming down, I had a cordless mic, I was getting drenched, they were all looking at me with their umbrellas, and some woman walked from the crowd up to me and handed me an umbrella. So I standing there on the stage with an umbrella going, thanks very much.
But that's comedy itself, right?
Yeah. And I just started singing this one. I'm singing in the rain, and the whole crowd started joining on.
No way! Oh, brilliant!
When they do that when it first came out, like, you know,
the comedy gods are smiling down.
Every time I got thrown out, I just come out with a stupid song, and they loved it. It's going, wow, maybe my future's in music, not comedy. But that was a frightening experience because I was way out of my depth, you know. But that's Paddy. Paddy has more faith in me than I have in myself, you know.
Yeah.
He thought he was well able for it, but I proved him wrong.
Because I've done a bit of stand-up myself, and it's horrible. Like
it can be awful, yeah. But also,
especially when nobody laughs at that first joke, and that's just,
well, that's key, isn't it?
You know, when
the opening is so important. It is so important because people just switch off. The rest of your set could be gold.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got a good start, they're like, what? Arms get folded, the legs get crossed, the heads get torn to their mate.
It's horrible, isn't it?
It's going to be rubbish.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that's why it's so important to get off to a good start. You know?
And you can feel it. You can feel the daggers. Yeah. Right. Let's say story. Film about the story of your life. Who would you like to play it?
Oh wow, yeah. Well, do you know what? Recently, I've had this midlife crisis in that I've grown this fungus on my face, and people have likened me to Jimmy Nesbitt for some reason. They said there's a likeness there. So I suppose just keeping it real, then I suppose Jimmy Nesbitt would be the man that I'd love to say Brad Pitt or someone like that, but let's be real.
He'd want to work on his accent, though.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to get rid of the accent he has.
Absolutely.
Who do you? I was going to say, who do you most closely resemble? Childhood fears that are still with you. There's one for you.
Well, when watching, you know, things that used to scare me on television, for instance, and one of the scariest things on television or in the film that I ever saw, and still haunts me to this day, is the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
He's a freaky dude. Like, I remember that scene where his head just comes down at the window with the little pops. Children. I was like, oh my God. And even now when I see that, I get that, whoa.
Yeah, he reminds you of the creepy uncle at Christmas.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the connotations that character represents are just frightening.
It does,
you know?
It's very innocent times.
Yeah, innocent times, but not now. You're going, my God, there's lots of them now.
And your biggest pet hate?
Pet hate?
Apart from
Well,
cats.
would you believe I'm doing a little bit in me routine at the moment. Basically, I say a lot of comedians like to come up on stage and rant and rave about stuff that pisses them off. But there isn't an awful lot of stuff that pisses me off. But something small has come to surface recently, and it's people who finish sentences with the word "fact."
Oh God,
You know these people?
Yeah, I know them.
Like, my dad is the best barman in Dublin. Fact.
Yeah.
And you're looking at them, I mean, the arrogance of that statement.
Yeah,
it just leads me to believe that all the previous statements were bullshit. You know?
Fiction.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't walk up to a stranger in the street and say, "Sorry, mate, have you got the right time?" Question.
I'm great in the sack. Fiction.
Yeah. Or when I finish off that little routine, I go, "Do you know what? I've played to some ugly audiences, ladies and gentlemen. By far, you are the ugliest." Joke.
Well, what's the immediate, just before we finish, what does the immediate future hold for Erich Lalor?
Well, I have a busy summer ahead, Eric, thankfully. Nice to say that as a comedian. You know, obviously just done the Cat Laughs in Kilkenny, which was amazing as ever. And I'll be doing you know, any other comedy festival that's going out there this year. There's a new like the Ivy Gardens, which is on every year, which is an amazing festival. I'll be doing that again this year. And I think the launch of that is this week. I'm doing that, and then
it's always nice and sunny as well.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's a great atmosphere. It's lovely. I mean, I never even knew the Ivy Gardens existed until I was asked to do the comedy festival, and then I was like, wow, what an oasis in this sprawling metropolis that is Dublin City, you know. And I'm doing the Cork Comedy Festival, which is a new festival this year, which is the weekend before the Ivy Gardens, and that also is going to be a marquee event in a park, which hopefully will create the same kind of Ivy Gardens atmosphere.
Oh, great.
And then I'm doing my first Edinburgh Fringe run this year, so I'll be in Scotland for the month of August, which of course is a huge challenge, but it's almost like a rite of passage for any comedian worth their salt. They have to do it,
the Edinburgh,
So I'm aiming to. I've gone over a few times and I've done bits and pieces of it, like I've gone over for 4 or 5 days. I've never done the whole month, so this year I'm popping my fringe cherry.
Well, Eric, I wish you all the best of luck, and I'm sure everybody else out there does as well. And thanks very much for coming on. Okay, take it easy, man. Now we have Robbie Kane hunting you down for answers to life's most important questions.
Well, Eamon, you always did say I was a bit on my trolley, and today is no exception. So, may I have the envelope, please? Okay, the question is, can an open marriage or relationship ever work? I'm not too sure. I'll have to ask the people if I can get out. Excuse me. Do you think that open marriages or relationships work?
Well, yeah, of course it would, yeah.
Why? Tell us.
Why?
Yeah.
Every relationship would work if you wanted to work. It won't work if you don't want it to.
But an open one. So you could actually go off with someone if you wanted to.
Oh, no, not that way. No, it won't work for me. Definitely not. No.
Would you be killed?
Would I be killed? Yeah, too. Would I be killed? She'd murder me.
Do you think that open marriages or relationships can work?
Yes.
Tell us why.
Because you don't need to sign an agreement if you feel good with each other, you know. Yeah. It's in between two people.
Yeah. Do you think that open marriages or relationships work?
Yes.
Do you? Tell us why.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they're under no obligation. And anybody that's in an open marriage, because they can shift it around. I mean, when you come to my age, you don't be able to shift anything.
Right, that's all we have for you this week, but join me next week for some more f***ing bullshit. That's all we have for you this week, but what a show it was, what? If you have any requests, questions, or any general weirdness at all, email me at thewarehouse@city.ie or find me on Twitter at Kingbot. Till next time, you stay classy, warehousers.